Hello, my name is Janis and I work in IT field for over 15 years. I have a lot of experience, practice in IT field, and therefore I would like to share all my knowledge in my YouTube videos that I'm trying to make once a week, sometimes once in 2 weeks. But in this video we will try to solve the issue to avoid something like this, so that your server room or data center doesn't burn down. Because when your servers overheat, they can produce a lot of heat, therefore the server rooms can overheat and start burning. Also, with the great tool of Zabbix, you can also avoid breaches by controlling your SSH remote desktop connectivity, and also a lot of more things to monitor. Well, Zabbix isn't data-related monitoring that monitors and analyzes data, but you can also achieve that with several of its components. So there are a lot of things to do. For the data monitoring, like analytics and stuff like that, I would recommend Grafana. And in one of my upcoming videos in next week, I hope I will finish it, there will be comparison between Grafana and Zabbix on the data analytical stuff. But for now, we are focusing on hardware monitoring, Docker monitoring, server monitoring, and a lot of monitoring, how to set up Docker monitoring and stuff like that. They will be visible in my YouTube shorts. So without further ado, we will move to the video. Any information, links and stuff like that will be down in description. I would be thankful if you click like button if you find this content educational, and also it saves you time and money, as Zabbix has that opportunity to do that with quality metrics, with graphs, with other stuff. Because any monitoring tool, there are several of them out there, believe me, they have their own strengths and weaknesses. In this video we're just setting up Zabbix. I use Zabbix for quite a lot of time. I know large companies use Zabbix as well, and it has been proven as a great monitoring tool that can monitor a lot of things, starting from servers, from network devices, and also printers and VoIPs and other stuff that you can imagine, like Redis, MySQL, SQL, Docker containers and stuff like that. So with this tool you will not only save money, but you can also raise the question to IT departments, because Zabbix has like top 100 triggers with whom you can go and ask your department why these issues are recurring and try to figure out how to fix them. So I would suggest you to watch till the end, and hope this is a great tool for you as well as it is for me. So please, if you have any questions, leave a comment or contact me via my YouTube channel, via Twitter, or as it's called now, X, and maybe I can assist you. Thank you. Firstly, we would need to start by installing Zabbix server, as Zabbix server will be the one who will create the tables inside database and put the information. So go to the hub.docker.com and in the search for Zabbix server. Once you have found, we will be using MySQL version, so click on it, and if you are familiar with Docker, then you already know the tags. Zabbix has different tags, different base OSs and stuff like that. Also, you can see that Zabbix is maintained, and the last update was 8 minutes ago on the 1st February of 2024. So they are keeping it up to date, therefore avoiding vulnerabilities and other bad stuff. In this page you will not only find the information and values for the Docker run, but also you will find the commands that you can put inside the Zabbix configuration file, therefore you don't need to maintain it separately, but add those commands into your run function as well. So firstly, let's create a database. To do that, we will need to go into our MySQL container. Inside the instructions on how to create MySQL container you can find in my YouTube shorts, also in my blog as well, with all the commands and the stuff that we will be using for it. So let's go into Docker exits and -it MySQL world. That's how I call my Docker container of MySQL server. And once we are inside, now we need to log into the MySQL itself by executing the following command: mysql-u space root-p. All the passwords in this video will be deleted after the video filming, so YouTube, be advised, these are not something to breach upon, and the VPS also will be destroyed afterwards. As I had some issues before, as one system showed password and YouTube blocked my video, so this is for the information that this is for educational purposes only, and these passwords are randomly generated and afterwards will be deleted once this video will become publicly visible. So now that we are inside our MySQL, now we can create a database. Usually we do like this, creating database by create database name, but for Zabbix we need a specific collocation and character set. Therefore, we will create a database Zabbix world with character set to UTF-8 MB4, and also additionally we need to add the collocate UTF-8 MB4 bin, as this is since Zabbix supports specific characters in server names in other things, so that you don't have issues later on. So now we will create our user Zabbix world, which will be identified with this password that will be blurred out, but in case you see it, this password already with this account is non-existing on that MySQL server. The server is also not available publicly, so YouTube, for your information, if you need to look at it. Now that we have created our user, let's grant Zabbix world user access to Zabbix world database so that it can have all the privileges it needs. For Zabbix we need one additional thing. We cannot do the flash privileges until we add logbin trust function so that it can import the needed stuff into the tables. And now we can flush our privileges. And after doing that all, we have done with our MySQL part. So now we can just exit our MySQL and exit our MySQL container. And we are back in our Linux VPS in my case. It can be in your case server or something else. So now I will bring my Visual Studio Code and explain these Docker run commands so that you understand them. Again, these credentials of MySQL will not be working once this video will become public. So we will be running the container in detach mode. We will have a restart always in case VPS server restarts or your server restarts, so that the container comes up automatically. Hostname for the container will be Zabbix server and name will be also Zabbix server. Now I have my custom-made GPVIT network. The instructions you can find in YouTube shorts. If you don't have your own network, then you just can remove this line and continue without it. All the links to my blog, to the shorts describing how to create the network and stuff like that will be down in the description. And yeah, also we will be using two ports for the Zabbix itself, as Zabbix runs in two modes. One is a passive mode and one is a active mode. So these credentials will be deleted. So these are my database credentials. You need to replace them with your credentials. You can use Docker secrets, but I don't see any point of using them, since if someone has access to your VPS server, he can also get those credentials in var run folder. And here we'll link on our Docker server VPS the alert scripts folder. In the future I will show you some custom made in Python bash alert scripts that can be useful, because Zabbix has a lot of them inside, but you can have your custom ones as well created, and sometimes you need custom ones because technology goes forward, so that you are not dependent on Zabbix or someone else. And I'm old-fashioned and I like to run it in one command instead of adding next row, next row, next row. The image we are using the default one for Zabbix. We don't have any custom specific. So now that it is downloading the Docker container, it is pretty quickly. It approximately takes around 2 to 3 minutes to actually install the database itself by creating the folders and the structures of the database. So we need to wait those minutes, and now that is database installing, we can go into our Docker Hub and click on the search, and we can search for Zabbix Web Apache MySQL. We will be using MySQL version with Apache. Again, all the information, all the stuff you can find here in the Docker Hub, as Zabbix has written all the needed information. Also, a double plus is that all the variables are available values inside here in the Docker Hub, as Zabbix has made it easier so that you don't need to go into the Docker container, do a manual changes for several things, and you can focus on your containers. So in this we will be using, again, running in detach mode. Our hostname will be zabbix.amberit.eu. Our name will be Zabbix Amberit, and again my network. The benefit of network is that containers can communicate using host names, like in this case zabbix.amber.it.eu or Zabbix-server. These ports will be needed, and the database credentials that will not be after the video published. Here we specify that it will connect to Zabbix-server. So basically the Zabbix web container can connect to the second container, which is server. Also I have specified my region for the time zones. Also because I want my times and virtual host that will be used for Nginx reverse proxy. And then let's encrypt information so that we can get the let's encrypt SSL server. If you are not running Nginx reverse proxy and let's encrypt server, then you can find the instructions in my Docker shorts how to get them running. Plus, additionally, we will mount the container certificates so that the container Zabbix Web has the certificates and SSL is possible to run inside, and default Zabbix image. All instructions for additional stuff like network, Nginx reverse proxy, and let's encrypt you can find in my Docker shorts, also in my blog. Everything will be down in the description. So if you find this all information video useful, don't forget to consider subscribing to the channel so that you don't miss other things, as I will have a new video coming out soon about Zabbix versus Grafana and my views on it. So once we have executed the command, it downloads our container, and so once we have run our command, we can go to our subdomain or domain name, and we will see an error since Zabbix containers are using 8080 port for HTTP. So what we need to do now is go into our Docker containers of Zabbix Web by executing the following command. And once we are in, now we need to go to etc/apache and httpd conf file. In this file we need to click I and go down until we find 8080. It's not far way down, here it is, and just remove the 80 so that we have only 80 left. Once we have done that, we can click on the escape button. Now semicom, W, enter, again semicom and Q. Now we need to do the same changes for etc apache conf.d, zabbix.conf, and again remove the 8080 so that it has 80. Click I, now remove it, click escape, semicom, W, enter, semicom again, and Q. Now we can exit our Docker container once we have done all the changes by typing exit. And now we need to restart our Docker container by stopping it. My container is zabbix.amberit.eu. And once we execute the command, Docker container is stopped. Now let's change the stop to start our Docker container. And approximately now it is booting up, and when you do refresh on your page, you should see a login screen of Zabbix. Now the default username is a admin with the capital A. Let me type it in. And password with small letters is Zabbix with double P, like the software called. These are default credentials. I suggest after you log in to change your credentials to more secure credentials, because these ones will be the default ones when someone finds this web UI in the network that they will try. Zabbix has a security feature. If 3 times wrongly insert credentials, the account is blocked for some time. As you can see, the Zabbix dashboard, it is installed. All these widgets can be changed, and also additionally you can add more widgets or completely rebuild your dashboard. You can have several dashboards as you please. Our Zabbix server is working, as we can see. All the information, for some reason it shows wrong location of mine, I'm not in that part. And our default Linux agent is down. Of course, this is expected because in the Docker container there is no Linux agent installed. It's just web server and Zabbix server. So this is the Zabbix dashboard. Here we can see our hosts, and we can see that it's trying to go to localhost IP, but since there's no agent, then it fails to actually get in. So now this dashboard has changed a lot actually since the last time I installed it, that was a year ago, and now it's a bit different output. Some things are brought up, some things not, and as you can see, you can have a lot of reports. Also, reports can be automatically sent once a week, once a month to your email, with the information about your servers, services, and anything that Zabbix is monitoring, because Zabbix can monitor your printers, MikroTiks, Cisco networking gear, Otter networking gear, and also several devices like UPS, for example. If the UPS is out of, let's say, electricity is lost, you can receive notifications, and well, any device basically that supports SNMP or IPMI or any of these JMX, then basically you can monitor it. I know I have used it previously a lot, actually, to monitor some specific UPSs and also to monitor MikroTiks, Cisco's and servers. The agents are on Linux, Windows servers, and you also can basically configure printers, also get information if there's paper jam or ink level or how much the printer is used. With the Zabbix tool you can avoid that, what was in the screenshot, that your servers are burning down and your whole data center or office is burning down or server room, because, well, it can notify you on time when there's overload. Zabbix has a lot of also interesting things like LDAP authentication, and on the plus side what I like is the templates that you can have, monitoring templates or also server templates. Let's say you install new Linux server, you can already automatically assign template with a default configuration, what to monitor, how to monitor. Let's say you want to monitor web interface, you can monitor connectivities to websites. Also you can monitor SSH default port 22 and remote desktop port. When someone connects, you receive the information, therefore you can avoid data breach or someone accessing your environments when they don't need, or if someone tries to hack you. So you can be one step ahead your hacker. So yes, this is the latest data. We can see the CPU, RAM and a lot of other things, but we will go through it again. And 1 second, let me show you. These are the templates. These are default installed. You can create your own, and you can also find them a lot in the Zabbix.com, as they have a lot of them, and they are not hard to create. They're basically XMLs that do specific monitoring. So with all these templates you can monitor a lot of things. They're already built, created specifically, and you can also go and adjust the triggers, the items, what to monitor, how to monitor. You can do that using WEB-UI. So basically if you have a Zabbix agent installed, you don't need to go to your server to do some changes. You can do them straight away from WEB-UI, how to monitor, what to monitor and why to monitor. So now let's install Zabbix agent. To install Zabbix agent, you can go to Google and search for a specific agent. It will show you in Zabbix.com. It has, as mentioned, different OS supports and different agents. There are two agent variables. One is agent and second one is agent 2. Agent 2 is more advanced, but it has shorter lifetime. And also you can find Zabbix versions. I recommend to go for LTS version because that's long time support, and that's much better because you don't need to worry or do any upgrades, downgrades. In my case, as you can see, I'm running Ubuntu Jamie 22.04, and I will be installing agent default one instead of agent 2. Agent 2 is better if you are monitoring Dockers and stuff like that, because it can be more active and stuff, like do more stuff. Also execute some bash pre-configured scripts and PowerShells on the Linux. So let's clear all that up, and now let's download our repositories. Let's add them. My terminal has run away. Now let's add them inside, and let's do an update. As we can see, we'll get some errors, but those errors actually doesn't matter because the installation anyhow works without any problems. So let's now install the agent with apt-get install zabbix-agent. Let's approve it, and now the agent is installing and it is ready. So once we have installed our agent, we need to go to etc zabbix agentd.conf, and we need to change our port. Since we have Zabbix server that has those ports opened, if we run the agent, the port ports will be conflicting between themselves. So in the configuration file, let's change our agent port. Let me find it, so that we don't have those conflicts between them, between the agent and between the Docker container Zabbix server. So let's change it to 53, and let's now save the file and restart our agent. Start, basically agent. And after we have done that, let's check if the agent is working. If there are no issues, and we see it is working and there are no issues. So let's now do the changes inside the configuration and change the agent to use DNS. Wrong field, sorry. Number and let's change to 53 and update. Now basically we need to wait, because everything what is with Zabbix, it takes up to 5 minutes to update once you have done some changes. They are not straight away. Of course you can change it all in the configurations, but we will not dive deep into that one. As you can see, it still fails to connect, still trying local host connection instead of the hostname that we have provided for the agent to use. And that's not Agent Smith from the Men in Black, it's just Zabbix agent. So after we are waiting, we see that the agent has an issue connecting to the Zabbix server. Connection is refused, and well, since long time I haven't installed the agent, I have forgotten that we need to whitelist the IP address of our server, so we need to go again into the configuration file. Let's search for server, and here we see the default server is 127.0.0.0.1. Replace it with your Docker container IP address, and once you have done that, you can also change the same for the active agent, server active, in case you are using the active agent, not the passive one. Once you have all done that, then you just can save your file with the changes. I will of course now demonstrate with an empty IP address, and off the camera I will come back and change it. So let's click on Ctrl X, save, and let's restart the Zabbix agent. And now it should allow it to connect, and again we need to wait for those 5 minutes. I will wait for them off the camera, and once it will update, then I will come back. So as we can see, our Zabbix server is running. I have blurred out my Zabbix server IP address, as I changed it back to the IP address. So I had some bit of issues with the hostname, but as we can see now, our CPU utilization, our average in 5 minutes, in 1 minute and 15, and if we go to hosts, we go over our server, we can have a lot of interesting graphics and stuff like that. But my most favorite is last data, where I can see all the information about my server, including the disk usage, the Linux configuration, CPU, and other stuff. Also, if you would click on graph, you would see the graphics and stuff like that. And well, alerting for me is disabled, but if I would have an alerting enabled, then it would alert me about some things already. And here we can add the templates. Let's say you want to add some more additional templates, or you have created your own, then basically you can go here, choose your template, and assign it. Since I don't have anything on this VPS, it's only running Docker, then I don't have anything additionally to show. And some things that I'm not showing currently here, they will be in my YouTube shorts, as I will create shorts about some Zabbix functionalities, how to do that, this and other stuff. But yes, don't forget, if you find this useful information, to subscribe, as there will be Zabbix versus Grafana, and well, what to better choose in the usage. So yes, you can with Zabbix you can do a lot of interesting stuff, which is very interesting and very cool. And one of the things is that Zabbix has a lot of like pre-thought things like maintenance. You can create a maintenance schedule for your server with data collection and without data collection. What does maintenance mean? Maintenance means that the alerts for that specific server which you are monitoring will not be sent to your notifications while the maintenance period is on. So you can also schedule it and automatically it will shut off at the end of the active till. So that's another very good thing that they have thought. And well, it is a bit hard to navigate because some things have been moved around in the Zabbix. And now let me show you the trigger actions. This is basically where you can configure it at what stage should it trigger. If the, let's say, direction, if the alert is open for 1 hour and it haven't passed 2 tests, it should automatically trigger one of these already implemented notification methods. Currently they are disabled. You can enable them, configure them. Some of them, like Teams or Jira, is asking for API keys, so you can specify all that information. And also there will be shorts about some of these things, and in the future videos there will be also coming out a video on how to create your own Python and Bash notifications, as sometimes you need some custom webhooks or something like that. So yes, basically this is Zabbix. We have created our database MySQL. We have installed Zabbix server. We have installed Zabbix Web, and we have installed Zabbix agent on our Linux. We have connected it, and after the connection, it's already collecting our information. There are several tools outside for monitoring. Each tool has its own purpose. There is no universal tool, that is a fact. And if you would like to avoid what was in the thumbnails for your server room, for your server, for your data center to burn down, then you need to be alerted when your servers are overheated or overloaded, because overload brings more heat. More heat can actually start a real hazard fire. Of course, Zabbix isn't a tool for analytical purposes. If you want something more for analytical purposes, then you should go with Grafana or Splunk, but I like Grafana because I like tools that I can host on my own VPSs in-house that are not hosted on some public clouds, because there is like Datadog and several other companies that offer you to monitor your servers. They are hosted on clouds. And without mentioning any names, one of the companies got breached and all the AVS information that they had on their AWSs was stolen. Client keys, connection, SSH keys and stuff like that. Therefore, there was a issue, and some clients could be also breached at that time, and therefore they saw that and they made on time notifications for clients to change the keys and disable the old ones. So that's why I like this one. And with the Zabbix audit log that can be sent out each week, each month, depends on your configuration, you can also speak with your IT, your management, or with your colleagues to fix the issues, because everything that goes under trigger top 100 basically needs to be fixed, and you can measure the SLAs and provide graphs and stuff to your clients if you are monitoring websites, Docker containers, client VPSs and something like that. So yes, Zabbix is a great tool. I like it. I personally use it for the hardware and for specific monitorings. As I mentioned before, in the shorts there will be some additional stuff. So if you find this useful information and you like or learn technology, consider subscribing to my channel, wait for the shorts, wait for the Zabbix versus Grafana thing, and stay safe. Try to learn more, host your own solutions. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next videos. Bye bye.